Late afternoon in the forest. The sky is raining and the wind is strongly blowing. A dead mouse is under a vast pan tied with a rope. It was a trap made by Ren Xiaosu, our main character, and a refugee teenager who lives in a market town. At the moment, he was annoyed that the acid rain began before he even caught anything. He was worried that if this continues, he and his unrelated brother named Liu Yuan will starve from hunger. When he checked above, he saw a sparrow and it was heading toward the mouse. When it landed, he immediately run and get the pan. He senses that this sparrow is too fast, but then, he still managed to catch it by hitting it with the pan. When it loses consciousness, he grips it at the neck and he was glad that he finally caught something after waiting the entire night. He carried the sparrow on his shoulder and was ready to leave the forest as he planned to sell it at the grocery store, but he suddenly got a headache. His headache used to always happen at midnight and he was confused why it was suddenly occurring now. Ever since escaping from the wolf pack, his condition would occur often. Everyone from the town's marketplace said that his headache was just an after effect of that day. Only he knows that this is not pain but pure chaos. While he was suffering the pain, he was confused about why he can still sense things. An instantaneous silhouette emerges, and when it's completely visible, he confirmed that it was a palace. He was clueless about what was going on at this point. When he opened the door, it was too dark inside. He continued to walk and saw something unfamiliar on the table. He was about to touch it, but his head suddenly hurt again. From the other point of view, there is a man hiding in the tree. He was smiling widely as he saw the sparrow beside the unconscious body of Ren Xiaosu. He was planning something, but Ren Xiaosu regained consciousness. The rain is still pouring, so he immediately stands as he decided to leave the forest. The man behind him is holding a dagger and shouted, ordering Ren Xiaosu to hand the sparrow. Ren Xiaosu takes glance at him and suddenly hit him with the pan. He then leaves the man in pain and wondered why his move was sharp and strong. While Ren Xiaosu is walking, a sudden window appeared, giving him a mission to give the sparrow to someone else. He was clueless, but he still go back to the man and asked him if he really wanted the sparrow. "Yes, I do," the man answered. Ren Xiaosu handed him the sparrow, which made him trill. The window appeared again and stated that his mission was accomplished. The completion award of this mission is a basic skill learning manual in which he can learn the ability of others. The man was emotional while looking at him. "You're a good person," the man stated while holding the sparrow. Unexpectedly, Ren Xiaosu pulled the sparrow and told the man that he was just kidding. He then left while the man shouted in anger. Ren Xiaosu ignored him and continued walking until he arrived at the market town where he lived. When he entered, there were several men staring at him. They were jealous that Ren Xiaosu brought something from the forest. Ren Xiaosu noticed them. He then grips his dagger and one man is heading toward him. The man didn't continue as his companion stopped him for some reason. Ren Xiaosu resumed walking and go inside the market and asked about the price if he sell the sparrow. The merchant suddenly screamed as he was annoyed that Ren Xiaosu is placing the sparrow on his expensive glass. "It's 1.8 kilograms. Not bad, Xiaosu," the merchant stated. He then computed the price and gives 700 for the sparrow. Ren Xiaosu contradicted as it was too little, so the merchant make it 800. Ren Xiaosu was a little bit annoyed since there are fewer sparrows now and there are no less than 900. The merchant shakes his head as a sign that he disagreed. Because of it, Ren Xiaosu pulled the sparrow and decided to check the price at the old Lai's place. The merchant was alarmed by it and agrees on Ren Xiaosu's price, which is 900, as he doesn't want old Lai to steal this deal since there is someone from the stronghold came by requesting some exotic meat. The merchant asked again about what price Ren Xiaosu wanted to sell the sparrow, and Ren Xiaosu casually answered 1,200. The merchant was hesitant about the price, but since Ren Xiaosu's other option to sell the sparrow is to old Lai's place, the merchant immediately count his money, which is only 1,198. He then handed it to Ren Xiaosu and Ren Xiaosu is okay with it. Before he leave the market, he saw a coat and decided to buy it for his unrelated brother. He also saw an antibiotic, but it was too expensive, so he decided not to buy it and just endure the pain in his arm. The merchant gives him the coat and told him not to execute the sparrow next time since there are some wealthy people in their stronghold who like to keep it as pet. After a while, he arrived at his home and saw his unrelated brother Liu Yuan study. Liu Yuan is more likely to want to go hunting with Ren Xiaosu instead of attending classes, but Ren Xiaosu disagreed with it. As for him, knowledge is more essential. He also wanted to attend school, but the tuition was too expensive, which he cannot handle if both of them will be enrolled. He saves a part of the sparrow before selling it, and when he takes it from his pocket, Liu Yuan noticed his wound, but he told Yuan to ignore it since it was just a small injury. He was making soup and handing it to Yuan, but Yuan doesn't want to accept it as he believes that Ren Xiaosu needs it more than him. He cried as he remembered someone who died due to an infection a few days ago. Ren Xiaosu was mad and scolded Yuan. He explained why they need to eat and why he should study well. He doesn't want that Yuan will also hunt in the wilderness from dawn to dusk as he does. Yuan immediately sat and was forced to eat his food while he was still emotional. While he was eating, Ren Xiaosu held his head and told him to try on the coat that is newly bought. "Brother, what about you?" Yuan asked. "Don't worry about me," Ren Xiaosu answered while smiling. He lies down on his bed, which is made of hay, and remembers the palace that he saw a while ago. When he closes his eyes, the palace appeared again. He was confused if this was all his imagination. He entered and saw a paper on the table that stated a mission that he completed on the same day. Besides, it is a typewriter that has a character of justice, integrity, and friendship. He was confused if it was telling him that everyone in the stronghold is a good person and that he should strive to be a good person in this world wherever having morality is a luxury. In the middle of the night, there is a lady in white with black long hair walking going to Ren Xiaosu's home. When she entered, Li Yuan was alarmed by her presence and he right away pointed the dagger at the lady as he thought that it was the enemy. When he saw the face, he then withdrew his dagger. "She's Li Xiaolui." When she came as she heard that Ren Xiaosu is injured, Yuan informed her that a sparrow scratched Ren Xiaosu's arm. Li Xiaolui was worried upon hearing it. She stared at Ren Xiaosu lying in bed and she was concerned upon seeing him. "Big sister Xiaoyu, you're 8 years older than my brother. You don't have to look after him so much," Yuan stated. Xiaoyu was mad upon hearing it. She felt down and decided to leave. Yuan gets up and sits at the entrance of their home. Ren Xiaosu suddenly speaks and told him not to bully Xiaoyu, but Yuan resists as he doesn't like Xiaoyu. He saw this lady smoking and concludes that Xiaoyu is being with random men. He is also guessing that Xiaoyu is only approaching his brother Ren Xiaosu because Xiaosu always brings something back from hunting. "If you want to survive in this world, you can't stay clean. We're being forced to do all of this. Just turn her down instead of bullying her," Ren Xiaosu answered. He then sits beside Yuan and told Yuan that he was thinking about things. That is, he might possess some kind of ability too. Word has been around that some people possess special abilities. He didn't believe it until he met Liu Yuan. Yuan's ability is luck, but after wishing for something, there's a rebound. Liu Yuan would usually get a fever. While they are looking at the sky, Yuan saw a shooting star. Normally, people make a wish if they saw a shooting star. But Ren Xiaosu doesn't want Yuan to make a wish as he was afraid that it may rebound again to his brother. Before they go to sleep, Yuan asked why shooting stars come and go so quickly. "It goes by quickly because it doesn't want to listen to anyone's wishes," Ren Xiaosu answered. The next day, Yuan attends his class and they are discussing technology during the age of civilization. Ren Xiaosu also listens from the window since he wants to learn more about things. He lasts long standing just to get some knowledge from this professor. The professor's name is Zhang Jinglin. When he's done with the listen, he takes a glance at the window as he feels that someone is watching. He immediately comes out to inform Ren Xiaosu that he can listen to his lessons at the door starting this day. As expected, Ren Xiaosu is glad upon hearing it. He gives a cigarette to the professor as his appreciation. He was grateful that Zhang Jinglin is allowing him to listen to the lesson without paying tuition fees. In this chaotic world, students like you, who enjoy attending lessons, are rare. "Why do you enjoy listening to the lesson?" Zhang Jinglin asked. Ren Xiaosu answered that there's nothing wrong with learning more and that Professor Zhang Jinglin is the most respected person in their place. With his status, no one will steal crops from his garden. From the lesson Ren Xiaosu heard, he asked Zhang Jinglin why everything disappeared if he said that before the cataclysm, humans had a lot of technology. According to Zhang Jinglin, it was all lost through the generations. After the cataclysm, people were happy to just survive, but some information must have remained. He also added that only a few people possess such knowledge. Upon hearing it, Ren Xiaosu knows that the professor is referring to the stronghold. There is a wall or a boundary on their town. As per Ren Xiaosu, most wild beasts won't attack people on their own. If everyone leaves together, he believes that the wolves won't dare to do anything even without the stronghold. Plus, if the stronghold is destroyed, it means more people will gain access to the lost information, and they can rebuild civilization. Zhang Jinglin explained that as long as danger exists outside, the refugees must depend on the stronghold to make a living. In that way, the stronghold will gain a large force of cheap labor. The organizations behind the stronghold won't let the wall fall. Ren Xiaosu wanted to ask more questions, but Zhang Jinglin doesn't have time to answer as he needs to go back to his students. While the professor is leaving, a sudden window appeared again giving a mission to Ren Xiaosu. It says that the yearning for knowledge is never wrong, but the one who learns must teach it to others. He was confused about it but he still continued to follow the professor to the classroom. Zhang Jinglin continued his class and discussed what they need to do once they encounter wolves in the wilderness. He pointed to Ren Xiaosu and ordered him to explain the things to do when he encountered a pack of wolves in the wild. Ren Xiaosu was surprised, but then he still answered and shared his knowledge. According to him, if he encounters a pack of wolves, he will try to choose an upland. the wild field of vision along with the greenery and wind. The professor nodded while listening to him as he agreed with what Ren Xiaosu stated, not until Ren Xiaosu added that they will make it an auspicious burial place. Zhang Jinglin felt annoyed and puzzled at this point. The classroom was silent. Ren Xiaosu wondered why the mission is not completed yet if he already shares his knowledge. He believes that there's nothing wrong with his idea. He continued his explanation and stated that the outcome of encountering wolves will be the same as a wolf pack, and even if they encounter a lone wolf, there's basically no chance of surviving. That's why for him, the best choice would be to choose a burial place. After he explained it, Zhang Jinglin allowed him to sit in the classroom for future lessons, and that he will also be the one to teach the survival lessons. Ren Xiaosu is overwhelmed by it. The window appeared, informing him that his mission was accomplished and he was rewarded 1.0 strength. He confirmed now that he really gained extra strength, so he now believes that the palace he saw is not just an imagination and that he really does possess a special ability. If the strength of the average male is 3.0, then he concludes that he would only be 2.5. And since 1.0 is added to that, he was thinking if he got stronger than the average male. He grits his teeth while realizing that he has now a great chance of surviving in the wasteland. Yuan interrupted him, which made him startled. Yuan asked him if Professor Zhang Jinglin is planning to make him his successor by making him a substitute teacher. I don't think so. I think he just wants to smoke more cigarettes, Ren Xiaosu answered. He then smiled and told Yuan that he will pass the role of being a professor to him if he will become a teacher, since the wilderness is where he truly belongs. Yuan was a little bit annoyed by what he said, since Ren Xiaosu always gives all the best things to Yuan. While they are heading on their way home, they saw men with weapons. They overheard that these men will go to Jing Mountain. By looking at them, Ren Xiaosu was thinking if these men were mercenaries from within the stronghold who lacks actual combat experience, which is very dangerous. He also overheard that they will go to Fugui, the merchant, to ask if there was someone who can guide them. Yuan was thinking that Merchant Wang might recommend Ren Xiaosu to them, since Ren Xiaosu is familiar with the wasteland. But as per Ren Xiaosu, some people don't make it out of that area alive. Whoever wants to go can go, but he's not interested to guide them. Those people are strange. Make sure to stay away from them, Ren Xiaosu stated. When he passes by a woman and he senses that this woman's presence is similar to a wild beast. When the night comes, Ren Xiaosu is observing around. Yuan suddenly asked him about his wound and he said that it was fine. Yuan knows that he was lying and that he always trying to endure the pain. Don't worry, I won't joke around with my life, Ren Xiaosu answered. While they are talking, someone is chattering about Ren Xiaosu escaping from a wolf pack alive. They were alarmed upon hearing it. They immediately duck and slowly walk to the door. They are peeking and saw the merchant named Wang with the mercenaries. Ren Xiaosu was annoyed when he found out that Wang recommended him to these mercenaries. Wang calls him and asks him to come out. He then comes out with his pan on his back. Congratulations, Boss Wang. The father and son are both fine. The baby weighs 3.24 kilograms, he stated, which made Wang and the mercenaries dumbfounded. Because of Ren Xiaosu's behavior, the leader of the mercenaries shouted angrily and believes that Ren Xiaosu is mentally ill. He then left while Wang tried to explain. Xiaosu, you betrayed me, Wang said, and chased the men. Despite what happened, the leader ordered him to find another candidate, as he doesn't want Ren Xiaosu to be their guy. While they are leaving, the lady together with the mercenaries takes a glance at Ren Xiaosu, and Ren Xiaosu does as well. The window shows up again, stating that one of the target's skills will be randomly copied. The target's firearms skill has been randomly copied, and Ren Xiaosu accepts it without any hesitation. The window shows him all the firearms skills, and because of that, he now believes that he can really copy other people's skills. The system let him learn advanced firearms proficiency, which made him confused as he only get a basic scroll. There are two types of skill mastery scrolls. Basic scroll allows him to learn any advanced or lower grade skill of his choice, while master scroll allows him to learn others' master grade skills after his skills have reached advanced grade. There is also a chance of learning the target's superpowers. He asked the system about the level of that girl's firearms proficiency, and it shows that it is perfect. Ren Xiaosu was amazed by it, but he was clueless about why that girl is with the private army. He was thinking things not until Yuan interrupted him and asked why he keeps staring at the girl's back. He was about to answer, but Li Xiaoyu came, which made them surprised by her sudden appearance. According to the lady, she swapped houses with a family of 3 that lived near Ren Xiaosu's home. She'll be moving in here from now on and they will be neighbors. Bro, you're still a virgin, right? Sister Xiaoyu has really made a huge investment this time. She was previously living in a stone brick house, Yuan whispered, which made Ren Xiaosu annoyed since Yuan is too young and knows such a thing. He excused themselves and go inside their home. When they entered, they saw potatoes and pills hidden under the chair. It was inflammatory medicine, and because of this, Ren Xiaosu remembered how he was wounded by a pack of wolves last year, which he only survived because someone secretly sent him some medicine. What's more questionable is that the medicine was placed in the exact same spot as today. He was searching for that person ever since. Yuan stated that he haven't told anyone else that Ren Xiaosu was hurt apart from Lai Xiaoyu, but Ren Xiaosu was speechless. Outside their home, Lai Xiaoyu was smoking when someone grabs her hand. Yuan and Ren Xiaosu heard the noise. The man scratched Lai Xiaoyu's dress and Ren Xiaosu was annoyed by it. He comes out and a sudden mission appeared and he needs to help Lai Xiaoyu. Even if this wasn't a mission, he would still help the lady. He immediately rushed to the man. The man smiled when he saw that Ren Xiaosu only have a bone knife while he have an actual metal weapon. Surprisingly, Ren Xiaosu broke the man's weapon, which he cannot believe. With fast speed, Ren Xiaosu is punching him and slammed him to the ground. The man was annoyed to think that Ren Xiaosu have great strength at such a young age. Who is he? Ren Xiaosu asked. Lai Xiaoyu stated that this man is a foreman at the coal mine, the one who led the execution of someone in town that happened last night. It's all because he heard that the person they executed had the habit of saving money and happened to owe the casino money. That's why this man hatched an evil plan. After hearing it, Ren Xiaosu picked up the broken weapon and held the man's hand. A mission appeared in which he should give his enemy a way out. He then scratched the man's waist and instructed him that he only have about 3 minutes left. If he can get to the town clinic and get stitched up in time, he might be able to live. The man suffered in pain but forced himself to get up and run away. Ren Xiaosu's mission was completed and he was rewarded basic skill scroll. He also received a basic skill mastery scroll. Due to the loss of his weapon, a special side quest has been activated. Yuan is worried about him, thinking that that man might come again for revenge. Ren Xiaosu only smiled as he believes that their clinic cannot heal the man. He picks up his weapon and asked a favor to Lai Xiaoyu to stop smoking. Even though I'm very handsome, we can't be in a relationship. He also added, which made Lai Xiaoyu shocked, and answered that he only sees Ren Xiaosu as her younger brother. Ren Xiaosu laughed and felt awkward. He blamed his brother Yuan for babbling nonsense day after day. When they sleep, Ren Xiaosu is notified of a side quest that has been activated. He smiled as he thought that it will be interesting. He then grabs the paper from the typewriter and saw that the mission is related to his weapon. Due to the loss of his weapon, he has started a special side quest, which is he should get thanked sincerely 100 times to unlock a weapon. Gratitude can be exchanged for items too. By how Lai Xiaoyu thanked him, he already got 1 gratitude. He woke up and ordered Yuan to say thank you to him right away. Yuan was confused about his actions, but still, Ren Xiaosu forced him to say it. Thank you for taking care of me all this time, Yuan sincerely said. Because of it, Ren Xiaosu received additional gratitude. He smiled while thinking that this mission was too easy, not until he demanded Yuan to say it again. When Yuan followed him, Ren Xiaosu didn't obtain gratitude, so he accused Yuan that he wasn't sincere. He ordered Yuan to say it again with emotions until they took a few hours. They tried to repeat many times, but Ren Xiaosu only obtained 1 gratitude from Yuan. He comes back to the palace by closing his eyes to check what he can exchange with only 1 gratitude. The typewriter only drops 2 coins and there are words carved on them. A sudden vendo machine appeared. Ren Xiaosu is not familiar with it, but when he saw a hole that can fit a coin, he decided to try putting the coin inside and it drops 1 medicine. He was confused since it doesn't have any notes about the medicine's uses. He comes back to reality and he was already holding the bottle of medicine. Yuan was surprised at how the bottle suddenly appeared in Ren Xiaosu's hand. Ren Xiaosu opened the bottle. He dips his 2 fingers and puts a few of them on his wound. Ren Xiaosu felt pain at first, so he thought that it might be poison, not until the pain was gone in an instant. He was amazed because anti-inflammatory medicine should be taken for 3 days straight, but this ointment that he got takes effect immediately. Because of this, he comes up with the idea that he should get gratitude quickly. The next day at dawn, Yuan and Ren Xiaosu attend the class, and their professor Zhang Jinglin was shocked by their appearance. They look so tired and sleepless. Yuan was about to tell to their professor what exactly they did last night, but Ren Xiaosu stopped him and reasoned to Zhang Jinglin that they doesn't have a good sleep. Have you decided what to speak about? It's your first day as a relief teacher, Zhang Jinglin asked, and Ren Xiaosu confidently answered yes. He then stands in front of the students. When the students greeted him, he comes up with the idea that students should thank him rather than saying good morning once the class started. He tried it and the students followed him. What made him confused is that he didn't get any gratitude, so he believes that all of the students are not sincere. He then forgets about his idea and decided to think of something else. Meanwhile, it's already late in the afternoon, and Ren Xiaosu still discusses with the students the basic wilderness survival skills, but the students are not interested in his way of teaching and only waited the dismissal time. While he was teaching, one student interrupts him and stated that night will about to fall and it will be dangerous in town. Fine, safety first. You are dismissed, Ren Xiaosu answered. The students are excited, running away, leaving Ren Xiaosu. The system suddenly gives him 2 coins, and he was glad while thinking that his hard work has paid off in the end. He believes that students were thankful to him for speaking for so long. They are heading their way home, and Yuan told him not to drag the lesson out next time. Ren Xiaosu poked Yuan's head and stated that he was not dragging out the lesson. Instead, he was dragging out money, the sincere gratitude of the students. Yuan pointed in front of them as he saw the mercenaries, and they already have a guide, which is the old Wang interrupts them. He regrets recommending Ren Xiaosu to the men because Ren Xiaosu rejected it even though it was a good job for him. How do you know for sure that it's a good job? Ren Xiaosu asked. The merchant explained to him that there certainly is a divide between rich and poor people in the stronghold. The poor have absolutely no way of exiting the stronghold. Only people of importance can enter and exit the stronghold at will. While listening to Wang, Ren Xiaosu realized that these high walls block not only the people outside but those within them too. Those within the high walls can't exit easily. Yet the people outside do everything they can, even risking their lives to enter. Wang stated that he heard the staff say they were looking for a good guide from the town to bring into the stronghold. At this point, Ren Xiaosu was speechless while his brother Yuan told him to talk to the mercenaries as he was way stronger than old Li. Stop blabbering, let's go home, Ren Xiaosu replied. They are walking away and saw Li Xiaoyu selling his earrings. Ren Xiaosu handed her money and told her that she doesn't have to sell anything. Here's the money for those 3 anti-inflammatory pills, he said, which made Li Xiaoyu confused. He really believes that this lady is the one who put the medicine under their table. A sudden pitiful voice asking a favor from a doctor in their town. She was with an injured man and she wanted that the doctor will help them heal his husband. If you don't have money, get lost, the doctor stated. Ren Xiaosu feels pity for her and he told Yuan that he should not forget this scene as it is the reality of life. When the rain falls down, they immediately run inside their houses. When they are inside, Yuan shared that he noticed that doctors can easily get gratitude from the people. It's a shame that you don't have any medical skills, he added. Upon hearing it, he realized that he doesn't have the medical skills but he have a chance to learn them. He believes that as a doctor, he can both earn money and treat others. The next day, Ren Xiaosu is waiting outside the clinic. When the doctor comes out, he was startled when he saw Ren Xiaosu squatting outside his clinic. Continue what you were doing, don't mind me, Ren Xiaosu answered. The doctor turned around and reminded Ren Xiaosu that he doesn't treat people without money. Ren Xiaosu stands and smiles while copying the doctor's skills. The skill scam has been randomly selected. Learn the skill, the system asked, which made Ren Xiaosu annoyed as he was expecting to learn medical skills but ended up copying the scam skill of the doctor. He stared at the doctor with annoyance and the doctor do the same. He realized that Ren Xiaosu is the person who's famous in their town for being ruthless. Ren Xiaosu squat again and checked the level of the doctor's medical skill in the system. He then found out that this man is a fake doctor and doesn't possess medical skills. He was mad and hit the doctor's head using his pot. He was mad at the fact that this man is cheating and scamming to get money from the people. The doctor cried and still lie in front of Ren Xiaosu. Ren Xiaosu decided to leave without getting what he expected. He looked at his wound that almost completely healed and realized that he can be a knife wound specialist. When Ren Xiaosu got home, he found Li Xiaoyu inside his house sewing his cloth. The lady also cooked porridge for them and Yuan is ready to eat, but Ren Xiaosu grabbed his neck to ask if Yuan already thanked the lady. Yuan bowed down in front of Li Xiaoyu to show appreciation, and the lady also told Ren Xiaosu not to hit Yuan so much. The two of you are still growing, she stated, which made Ren Xiaosu thrilled since no one has ever told them stuff like they're still growing before. He sits down and eats some porridge. He shared with the lady that they will be opening a knife wound clinic and he wants that Li Xiaoyu will help them. Meanwhile, Yuan is already asleep. Ren Xiaosu closed his eyes to go to the palace in his mind and take a look at the result of these few days. He exchanged a gratitude token for a bottle of black medicine yesterday, so he still has 3 coins left. 1 gratitude token can be exchanged for a bottle of black medicine, and a bottle can treat 3 people. The more black medicine he exchanged, the more gratitude tokens he can get. He concludes that he might be able to unlock his weapon sooner. After thinking about things, he then decided to sleep. The next day, Ren Xiaosu is heading to the workers in their town. One man was confused when he saw that Ren Xiaosu is cutting grass in their area. Since he has medicine, in order not to be suspected, he needs to cut some weeds and pretend that they are herbs. This isn't wild grass, these are herbs, Ren Xiaosu answered. He also lied that it can make medicine to treat wounds, which he also used to heal his injuries. The man was puzzled and doesn't believe what Ren Xiaosu said. At his house, he used the grass to act like he was making medicine. There are men watching him, but no one dares ask what he was doing. He smiled at them, but the men are chattering and seem like they doesn't trust him. Ren Xiaosu feel that these men are not curious at all, so he approached them and pointed to one man. Asked me what I'm doing right now. Ren Xiaosu demanded. The man followed his order and he made a wide smile and answered that he was concocting herbal medicine which can help wounds heal rapidly. He announced to everyone that he will be opening a clinic specializing in threatening knife wounds. The men leave as they don't believe Ren Xiaosu. When he was about to enter his home, he saw one man behind him. He saw wounds on the man's arm. He then held the arm and offered his medicine. No need, the man answered. Ren Xiaosu put some of the medicine to the man's wound to heal him for free, but the man was scared and ran away. The next day, old Wang visited him. He was too excited as he heard that Ren Xiaosu healed one man who lives on the east side of town. He asked for some of the medicine from Ren Xiaosu as he is also interested to sell it to the people. No, I can't have a broker take part of the profit, Ren Xiaosu answered. Old Wang asked where he get the medicine and as expected, Ren Xiaosu lied and said that it was passed down in his family. Ren Xiaosu is willing to sell the medicine for 600 per bottle to Old Wang. Then, thank you, Old Wang answered and handed the money to Ren Xiaosu. Because of the old man's appreciation, Ren Xiaosu earned additional 1 gratitude from him. Old Wang directly goes to a man in a tux and handed him the medicine. Ren Xiaosu puts a banner outside his house to start opening his business. 3 wounded men are in a hurry and heading to the known clinic in their town. When Ren Xiaosu saw them, he was too excited and got a mission of treating 3 patients. He then rushed to the men and grabbed them to bring into his house. The doctor in the clinic you are heading to is a quack. I'm saving you, understand? Ren Xiaosu stated. He called Li Xiaoyu to assist him. According to these men, the boiler in the factory where they worked exploded, that's why they were wounded. They were able to make it here on their own because they weren't as heavily injured. Some had died on the spot. Ren Xiaosu was sad while thinking that no one would treat them if they got hurt and that people would only wait for them to die, then take their belongings. Ren Xiaosu smiled at Li Xiaoyu and ordered the lady to disinfect her needles to stitch the wounds of their patients just like how she sewed clothes. Li Xiaoyu was shocked upon hearing it, but still, he followed what Ren Xiaosu ordered. He disinfected her needle to the flame and started stitching the wounded man. The man shouted in pain and was annoyed that Li Xiaoyu directly stitched his wound without waiting for the needle to cool. Ren Xiaosu apologized and reasoned out that it is Li Xiaoyu's first day at work, which means that she was not too familiar with the process. Ren Xiaosu get the medicine and before he put it to the men's wounds, he informed them that the charge will be 600 per person. One man rises and suddenly runs away as he doubts Ren Xiaosu. Ren Xiaosu followed the man and caught him at the corner. Let's go, Ren Xiaosu said and go back to his house carrying the man on his shoulder. Li Xiaoyu continued stitching the wounds. Ren Xiaosu also completed his mission and was rewarded with additional strength and agility. After he treated 3 men, a mission suddenly appeared in which he needs to treat 10 patients. Because of this, Ren Xiaosu realized that this is a chain quest. When the night comes, there is someone shouted to alarm everyone that there is a wolf pack has broken into town. Ren Xiaosu, Yuan, and Li Xiaoyu were shocked upon hearing it. Ren Xiaosu concludes that wolf packs were attracted by the scent of blood from the boiler explosion, but he believes that these wolves won't take the risk to come to them since they have the stronghold behind them. Yuan asked him how he survived the wolf pack back then, but before he can answer, they heard people assembling outside. Ren Xiaosu off the candlelight and closed their window. He was worried that the stronghold might collapse. Li Xiaoyu looks worried when she heard it from Ren Xiaosu and she asked if it is possible to happen. I don't know, but nothing in this world lasts forever, Ren Xiaosu answered. When they check outside, they saw several armies and Yuan keeps asking about them. Ren Xiaosu told him not to ask too much. Do I still have any status in this family? Yuan asked in annoyance. Don't think too much. Your status in this family is to stay alive, Ren Xiaosu answered. While he was looking at the men and weapons, he realized that the skill mastery scrolls are really useful. He recognized all the guns and he knows that if he managed to get hold of these guns, he will be able to use them immediately. The men were walking away and Ren Xiaosu ordered his brother Yuan to stay at Li Xiaoyu's place tonight and that he should only come back to their home once Ren Xiaosu will return. Yuan was worried and asked him where he was going, but he didn't give any answer and rushed outside. While he was rushing, a man is forcing himself as he was pooping outside. He was confused when he saw Ren Xiaosu rushing at such a late hour. Ren Xiaosu is rushing to the factory. The managers possess firearms, but they were still attacked by wolves. Perhaps they couldn't get the guns out in time because the wolves were too fast. Ren Xiaosu believes that the guns are still at the factory if that's the case. When he arrived, he saw the armies shooting the wolves. The wolves were not even afraid of the bullets and rushed to the armies. Ren Xiaosu continues going inside the factory as he knows that it is probably empty since all the private armies are battling the wolves. He saw several corpses at the factory and judging by the state of the corpses, he concludes that the wolves executed them with one bite. For him to go exactly inside the factory, He climbs the stair outside going to the roof. The only thing he can do this time is to jump in the glass above. He covers his head and holds his dagger. He then jumped going inside the factory. Even inside the factory have several corpses. He was curious when he saw the corpses facing the same direction as if they were trying to go somewhere. In times of danger, there are only two places people go to. It's either an emergency shelter or where the weapon is. He followed the corpses to the lower floor and saw an emergency shelter. The door looked, so he tried to knock. Someone inside opened the door. He then seized the opportunity and get inside the shelter. "Are you here to save me?" the man asked. When the man stared at him and realized that it was Ren Xiaosu in front of him, he has a gun and pointed it to Ren Xiaosu. Ren Xiaosu also realized that the man in front of him is not part of an army. Instead, he was Wang Dongyan, the factory manager. Dongyan pressed the door button and Ren Xiaosu concludes that Dongyan wants to trap him here in the emergency shelter. Ren Xiaosu smiled and asked Dongyan why he is the only one inside. "Something's not right. Did you reach here first and shut the door, locking everyone else outside?" Ren Xiaosu angrily asked. "Don't ask, you poor wretch. If you carry me back to town, I'll spare your life." Dongyan answered, which made Ren Xiaosu think that Dongyan is afraid that Ren Xiaosu will tell everyone how Dongyan sacrificed the lives of others for him to survive. Ren Xiaosu distracted Dongyan and seized the opportunity to slash Dongyan's hand and grab the gun. He then punched Dongyan's stomach and he slammed into the corner. Ren Xiao pointed his dagger at Dongyan's chest. "Spare me. I will tell you where my money is hidden." Dongyan asked. "Tell me first and I'll let you go." Ren Xiaosu answered. At this rate, Dongyan is dragging the time until the private army arrives, but Ren Xiaosu noticed that he buy time, so he slashed Dongyan's chest. There are still 2 magazines left, so he decided to take it along with the pistol. He then leaves quickly as he knows that the rescue team might arrive in any minute. When Ren Xiaosu got home, Yuan was worried for him. According to Yuan, some private armies returned with the wounded and brought back the bodies of their comrades along with the wild wolves. He also heard that the rest of these armies proceeded to the factory. Suddenly, a bunch of private armies came and ordered everyone to come out. They are looking for someone who left town. Ren Xiaosu was confused about why they arrived if he made sure to disguise Wang Dongyan's wounds as wolf claw marks, but then he realized that they might be looking for Dongyan's pistol that was missing. A man raised his hand. It was the quack doctor and the one who pooped last night and saw Ren Xiaosu running away in the middle of the night. He informed the armies that he saw someone last night with his own eyes. He then pointed to Ren Xiaosu, which made Ren Xiaosu shocked. The leader of the army immediately ordered to search Ren Xiaosu's house. Old Wang tried to stop them since Boss Luo from the stronghold specially instructed him to look after Ren Xiaosu. "You can't treat him like that," he stated. But still, the leader of the army doesn't want to let it slide. He told Old Wang that he will just personally apologize and explain the situation to Boss Luo. There are armies holding Ren Xiaosu while others are heading inside his house. Yuan stopped them, but Ren Xiaosu told him to get out of the way. The quack doctor evilly smiled as he thought that the armies will find something in Ren Xiaosu's house. When they finally entered, Yuan wished that the armies will not find anything. One soldier saw a pan, but because of Yuan's wishes, they cannot see the gun. Yuan took a deep breath when the armies comes out and didn't find anything. "Looks like what I did was unnecessary. He would have been alright anyways," Old Wang said to Ren Xiaosu. Ren Xiaosu is curious about who is Boss Luo, whom the Old Wang mentioned. According to Old Wang, Boss Luo is the King Consortium's representative in Stronghold 113, and that he likes Ren Xiaosu's medicine. Boss Luo also stated that if Ren Xiaosu can deliver a fixed amount every month on time, he'll ensure Ren Xiaosu's safety outside of the stronghold. Ren Xiaosu asked Old Wang to tell Boss Luo to send them into the stronghold, but Old Wang stated that they were unclean people who are not allowed inside the stronghold. Plus, if Ren Xiaosu will go inside, no one can gather medical herbs. Ren Xiaosu then realized that what Old Wang said is right. Unfortunately, Yuan suddenly feels weak. He got a chance to grab Ren Xiaosu, but he ended up falling and passing out. Ren Xiaosu immediately brings Yuan inside their house. He was mad that Yuan made a wish for him again and was hit by the backlash. Yuan was just worried that there might happen to Ren Xiaosu, and he was afraid that they will both be away from each other. Lady Lai Xiaoyu also helps treat him, and because of her kindness, Yuan apologizes to her for his behavior. The next day, Old Wang came to Ren Xiaosu and brings something in a red box. "You are not the only doctor in town," he stated. He congratulated Ren Xiaosu because the stronghold administrators gave him the quack doctor's house and he can now move today. Old Wang handed him the red box, and according to him, it is a supplement made from the bird's nest he treasured for many years. Ren Xiaosu feels disgusted while holding it as he heard Professor Zhang jingling that a bird's nest is made using the saliva of swallows. Aside from the news that Old Wang delivered, he also asked about Ren Xiaosu's medicine. Ren Xiaosu was confused since Old Wang just bought one. Old Wang then reminded Ren Xiaosu that he bought it for powerful figures of the stronghold. Ren Xiaosu handed him one of the medicine and the price now is 1,200. Even if it's expensive, Old Wang still accepts it right away. Because of it, Ren Xiaosu obtained other gratitude from the old man. Before he leave, he informed Ren Xiaosu to pack things and move into the clinic. Without wasting a lot of time, Ren Xiaosu, Yuan, and Lady Lai Xiaoyu go to the clinic. It's made of brick and very spacious inside. The first thing that Yuan noticed is a flag in the middle of the room with a word of rejuvenation Luolan. At this point, Ren Xiaosu still has a remaining mission in which he needs to treat 10 patients. As expected, Ren Xiaosu accepts it without hesitation. A lady with his husband came and Ren Xiaosu welcomed them wholeheartedly. The husband informed Ren Xiaosu that his wife is 4 months pregnant but her stomach suddenly started hurting. "What are you pregnant with?" Ren Xiaosu asked, but then he realized it and it was too complicated so he cannot treat the lady. "Do you want your wife or your child?" he asked, which made the man and the lady puzzled. Ren Xiaosu apologized and told them that he is not an obstetrician and it would be shameful for him to continue fooling them. He instructed them that they can go to the school building to borrow some books from Mr. Zhang. He also informed them not to randomly eat medicine. He told the patients to go and the man realized that Ren Xiaosu is better than the previous doctor because when he feels sick, that doctor feared that this man will not buy medicine and he didn't get better despite taking those medicine. They both thanked Ren Xiaosu and decided to leave. Ren Xiaosu only earned gratitude from the lady and realized that he cannot always get sincere thanks for free just by speaking honestly. He then told himself that from today onwards, he will treat what he can and give up on what he can't. There are already patients coming to Ren Xiaosu's clinic and he now treats 1 patient over 10. Lai Xiaoyu also continued to help him by stitching the patient's wound. As he said, he didn't accept patients whom he knows that he cannot treat. Because of his honesty, he obtained gratitude from others and also he completed his mission of treating 10 patients. His next mission is to treat 20 patients, which is a bit difficult for him. At this moment, his current strength has increased to 5.5 and his agility is 4.1. Another patient came and informed Ren Xiaosu that he suddenly developed a strange problem. "I can't treat erection problems," Ren Xiaosu answered. The patient opened the treatment room and told Ren Xiaosu that he will demonstrate it. When they are inside, the patient shows something to him. He made bubbles using his saliva and Ren Xiaosu is clueless about it. When it blows up, it has unbelievable force which made Yuan flew away. The force wasn't great, but that certainly isn't something normal saliva can do, so Ren Xiaosu informed the patient that he has some supernatural ability. "Thank you, doctor. I will go back and tell my parents," the patient said and leave. His thanks are sincere, so Ren Xiaosu obtained another gratitude from him. When the night comes, Ren Xiaosu is thinking about supernaturals that started appearing in this small town. The world is becoming increasingly dangerous. He has the palace too and collected quite a few gratitude points today. He was hoping that he will unlock the weapon sooner. While he was thinking, he heard some noise coming from outside. He then gets up to check it. There are 3 men jumping over the fence behind Ren Xiaosu's clinic. When they completely landed, Ren Xiaosu greeted them, which made them startle. Ren Xiaosu knows that these men have bad intentions. He then kicks the man in the middle and the man ordered his companion to execute Ren Xiaosu. They tried to attack Ren Xiaosu but ended up beaten. They asked for mercy from Ren Xiaosu and Ren Xiaosu asked who sent them. Before they can answer, the private army came again and shouted to open the door. Ren Xiaosu was alarmed why there are several people coming to him in the middle of the night. Ren Xiaosu opened the door and the army informed him that it was an ordered search. The private army was shocked when they saw Ren Xiaosu wearing a flag that has the name of Boss Liu. And they thought that Ren Xiaosu is mentally ill. At this rate, Ren Xiaosu is hoping that the army won't continue searching after seeing Liu Lan's flag. But he was wrong. The leader of the army was still ordered to continue searching inside the clinic. Ren Xiaosu tried to block them, but what they believe is that Ren Xiaosu is really hiding something. When they go inside, the leader of the army scolded the 3 civilians. The reason why they came here is that the army ordered them to search for guns in Ren Xiaosu's clinic. Ren Xiaosu is just chilling behind him. "My name is Wang Kanjian. If you're going to complain to Boss Lan, you can say my name," the leader of the army stated. Upon hearing his name, Ren Xiaosu was thinking that Wang Kanjian might be related to Wang Dong. After searching, they haven't seen firearms inside the clinic. Wang Kanjian stared at Ren Xiaosu and said that he will keep searching until the firearm thief will be caught. Before they leave, Wang Kanjian holds Ren Xiaosu's shoulder and stated that it would have been great if Ren Xiaosu were born in the stronghold. He also invited Ren Xiaosu to come with him and be his soldier as he sensed that Ren Xiaosu is better than his current armies. They then leave and Ren Xiaosu was grateful that he hid the guns in the mountain when he was gathering medicine a few days ago. The next day, they woke up as they heard a noise. When they come out, they saw the mercenaries coming from Jing Mountain. They left looking all neat and tidy, but now every single one of them is in a miserable state. By looking at them, Ren Xiaosu was thinking that around a week, the mercenaries probably didn't even reach the foot of the King Mountain. The only threat on the road would be the wolf pack, but the wolf pack only came a while after they left, so he was questioned about what these mercenaries have encountered then. Speaking of which, just by looking at the state of their clothes, Ren Xiaosu can tell that the girl with perfect firearms proficiency is indeed much stronger than the others. Ren Xiaosu also concludes that these people are looking for Old Wang because the guide he recommended didn't return with them. He believes that something must have happened along the way. What kind of guide did you get us? He made us waste 3 days doing nothing. And he still messed up the direction. A lady with blue hair complained. According to her, their guide was chewed to a pulp by something in the river. When they found the man, his body was already cold. Old Wang blamed them for not believing to him that Ren Xiaosu is the one who can really help them if they wanted to go to Jing Mountain. They then leave and decided to go back to the stronghold. Ren Xiaosu overheard them and he was mad again that Old Wang recommended him again to the mercenaries. Old Wang said that it was for his own good. For my own good. Then I thank your whole family, he stated angrily. I thank 8 generations of your ancestors. Old Wang answered and Ren Xiaosu added another gratitude from him. They were interrupted when they heard a man shout. He was grabbed by 2 armies. Ren Xiaosu is familiar to the man. It was the man who gained a supernatural ability. He concludes that the armies find out about the man's ability to blow bubbles. Old Wang approaches the army because he is worried about the man that was captive, but the army was mad and pointed him a gun. He's done for. That child is down for, he said. According to him, that man revealed his supernatural ability last night, but his backstabbing friends reported him. Each stronghold is hunting for people with supernatural abilities. Old Wang asked Ren Xiaosu what he will do if he were afraid of someone. Kill him, Ren Xiaosu answered. Old Wang sighed upon hearing Ren Xiaosu's answer. He also informed Ren Xiaosu that he heard that there is a mental hospital inside the stronghold, one made specifically to imprison supernatural ability users. They will even use various devices to examine them. He warned Ren Xiaosu not to tell anyone once he and Yuan will get a supernatural ability. All of a sudden, there is something happening in their town. Several men are executing each other. It was the father of Baojin fighting with the traitor friends of Baojin, the man who was captive for having a supernatural ability. They used different weapons that lead each other to death. There is also a lady who was shocked when she saw that one of these men is her husband and is now dead. She's Baojin's mother. She cried while hugging the body of the man. She cannot accept the sudden death of her husband, so he gets the dagger and struck her own neck. Now, there are a total of 5 deaths in their town. After Baojin was captive, both his parents could no longer live on. Ren Xiaosu was madly looking at the scene. He cannot accept what happened now to their society. Meanwhile, he attended class and before it started, he spoke to Professor Zhang Jinglin to inform him that he will teach the students how to fight people. All these years, Zhang Jinglin have been teaching students how to face the natural environment because he didn't want them to see their own kind as enemy. He already expected what will happen today. Why would the misfortune of others be our misfortune? If you want to talk, go ahead, Zhang Jinglin stated. When Ren Xiaosu entered the class, he saw the students surrounded his brother Yuan. He was afraid that these students discovered Yuan's ability. But the truth is, they are only mad that Ren Xiaosu is dragging the lesson out. Yuan acted fiercely and shouted the lady that all of the facts that Ren Xiaosu taught them could save their lives. Yet they did not only fail to thank Ren Xiaosu, but even talk bad about him. When he sit, a student besides him keeps staring at him. He noticed that Yuan seemed to be unhappy. He also shared that he had a bad dream last night, but Yuan told him not to worry since dreams are the opposite of reality. Ren Xiaosu entered the class and continued his plan, teaching the students how to fight. And as expected, he did not drag the lesson out for today. Old Wang suddenly came and told Ren Xiaosu to pack things. Someone sent him a letter saying that Boss Luo agreed to let Ren Xiaosu guide the band. You'll have to go to the Jing Mountain this time, he added, which made Ren Xiaosu surprised. Old Wang told him to prepare as soon as possible. Ren Xiaosu was thinking that Boss Luo might be behind the Jing Mountains expedition all along. That's why the band convinced him that Ren Xiaosu will be the one to guide them. He then walks away and heads to Professor Zhang Jinglin. He informed the professor that he will go to Jing Mountain. Do you have to go? Zhang Jinglin asked. Ren Xiaosu said that the same as Baojin's end. His life is in the stronghold's hands. He was worried that he might have trouble staying in this town from now on if he will reject the ban. Professor Zhang Jinglin let him go and allows Yuan to live in his school. Ren Xiaosu shows appreciation to him and goes directly to his house. When he comes home, he was packing his things while his brother Yuan asked him not to go. He told Yuan not to worry and promised the kid that he will return. He also handed money to Li Xiaoi and instructed the lady to buy Professor Zhang some cigarettes as rent. Someone knocks on the door. Before Ren Xiaosu opened it, he received a sudden mission to decline the offer to participate in the journey to the King Mountains. Because of it, he was thinking that there might be a danger, that's why the palace doesn't want him to go. He opened the door and saw the band. "You know everything already, right? Come with us," the lady said. He tried to look like mentally ill, but Wang Qinzhong doesn't believe him and knows that he was just pretending. "I'm not going," Ren Xiaosu said, and his mission was instantly completed. He received a basic skill duplication scroll as a reward. It can be used to learn others' abilities. Qinzhong was mad that he refused, but Ren Xiaosu retracted what he said since he already completed the mission. He told the lady that he will go, but with a few conditions. First, he wants a free $30,000. The lady refused and said that it will only be $10,000. Ren Xiaosu accepts it, but asked for an additional 10 bags of salt, 10 cigarettes, and 100 kilograms of rice. "Enough, stop talking, I'll give you 30,000, the lady said. Ren Xiaosu's other condition is he doesn't want Qinzhong to come along with them. For Wang Dingyang, Wang Qinzhong searched him twice. Ren Xiaosu knows that if Qinzhong will come with them on the journey to the Jing Mountains, he might cause some fiasco. The lady agreed to Ren Xiaosu as long as they can leave with him. The lady's name is Luo Xinyu. She's together with Sun Junzheng, Cheng Donghang, and with the second lieutenant of the Field Service Division named Zhu Xianchu. The mysterious lady wearing a hood is also with them, and she's Yang Xiaojin. When things are all set, Ren Xiaosu bids goodbye to his brother and to Li Xiaoi. At this point, Yuan was worried for him. He closed his eyes and seems like he wished for something. While they are traveling, Ren Xiaosu is observing the way. He remembered what Professor Zhang told him, that there used to be roads made of concrete before the cataclysm struck, so he wondered what the roads were like back then. Speaking of which, the plants have been flourishing recently. Even Mr. Zhang's cabbages have grown much taller. In the middle of their travel, Ren Xiaosu feels hungry. He was annoyed that these people with him aren't even taking a break for a bit. He looks at the loads on the vehicle where he was riding and found out that it was water and crackers. His eyes sparkle and he drooled when he sees it. When the night comes, they stopped by and decided to set up a tent to eat and rest for the night. They were about to get their food, but then they were shocked when they saw that Ren Xiaosu is enjoying eating the crackers. He consumed a lot of crackers, which makes his stomach full. The men forced him to get away to the vehicle, and some were mad and asked Xinyu to get a new guy. But since old Wang said that Ren Xiaosu is the only one who can lead them through the mountains, she cannot do anything. "Once we return from Stronghold 112, you can do whatever you want with him," she added. While Ren Xiaosu is looking around, he heard other men talking bad about him. What they expect is that Ren Xiaosu can't make it up to the mountain and that he will also die the same as their past guy. They were all interrupted when they heard someone shout that there are beast footprints. According to them, these footprints weren't in this place the last time when they were around here. Ren Xiaosu also observes the footprints, and he knows that it was a deer's footprints that come here because of the remaining food remnants that were left there by the band. "Everyone, get out of the way. Let me take a closer look," Ren Xiaosu stated. He explained to everyone that the footprints are from the bear that was lured by the food remnants they left behind last time. He stands and continues to walk, going inside the forest. He's planning to look for food since these people with him don't let him eat their crackers. A man warned him, but still, he continued to rush inside. As Ren Xiaosu heard, the previous guide went to the river to wash his face. Something in the river ended up mangling his face and died instantly. Ren Xiaosu prepared a sharp weapon, as he knows that there are large animals that usually appear around water sources. He believes that if he follows the huge deer's footprints, he should be able to arrive at the side of the river where the previous guide died. He started walking near the river, but he doesn't see anything special about the water, so he believes that the thing that attacked the previous guide was probably a fish that was lurking underwater. He was afraid that the previous guide is like most of the people in their town, who was unaware that most freshwater fishes are carnivorous. While he was observing, he saw a termite nest. He goes near to it and stabs it many times with his dagger. He then removes it and got a queen termite that he can use to bait for fish. He drops it into the river and focuses while waiting for something to come out. Something big is coming to the termite. When it comes out, Ren Xiaosu caught it using his handmade sharp long weapon. He then pulls it going to the land and immediately leaves the river, since the scent of blood appears to be attracting some scary things. Meanwhile, the band is too busy, but they were interrupted when they smell something nice. They did not expect that it was Ren Xiaosu grilling the fish. A quest appeared that he should share good things with others. He carried the fish and approached the men. The men thought that he will share it with them. "I only wanted you to look at it. I'm sharing my happiness," Ren Xiaosu said. Because of it, he completed his sudden quest and was awarded 1.0 dexterity. He offered the men that he will agree to share the fish if they will give him 3 bottles of water. Due to hungriness, the men accept the deal and get half of it. While Ren Xiaosu is heading to his area, young Xiaojin followed him. She sat together with Ren Xiaosu and asked for some fish. Ren Xiaosu was rattled because young Xiaojin pointed him her M9 weapon. He feels a teeny bit flustered when a master of firearms proficiency is pointing her gun at him. He let the lady eat some fish, but it should only be 2 bites. Yuo Xinyu also came and offered 2 bites of her chocolate to Ren Xiaosu, as she also wanted to eat but doesn't want that she will eat for free, since the chocolate was too small for Ren Xiaosu. He ate it in just 1 bite and complained that Xinyu owed him another bite. Xinyu was annoyed but still gets some more. Xiaojin started putting salt on the fish and Ren Xiaosu is observing her. He admired Xiaojin's beautiful face. When Xiaojin took a bite, Ren Xiaosu shouted as he cannot believe that the lady can bite like a man. The next day, Ren Xiaosu woke up. He is sleeping outside the forest while the band has their tents. He stands and notices something. The last thing he remembered is there are still a bone of his fish before he sleep, but now, it was all gone. He was thinking that it might be the mutated ants that carried it, since it isn't impossible to clean it out within a night. Ren Xiaosu go the band and they were preparing as they were about to leave and continue their travel. Ren Xiaosu told one man to tell all his colleagues to stay away from the river as possible. They ride on their respective vehicle and Ren Xiaosu is in the front to guide the way. Unexpectedly, there is a big red deer blocking their way. They come out to their truck and ready their weapons. Don't open fire. Be as quiet as you can. Don't enrage it, Xianchu ordered. The deer suddenly go berserk and rushed on them. The first truck was alarmed and immediately turned the truck to avoid the deer. He avoided it, but the next vehicle was attacked by the deer, and because of its strength, the truck flew. When the deer ran away, the lieutenant ordered them to open fire. They were all annoyed that they didn't catch it and only runs away just like that. Ren Xiaosu is observing Xiaojin and he feels strange that the lady isn't shooting and only standing watching the deer escape. Since there is one wounded man, Ren Xiaosu was called to treat the man, as they know that Ren Xiaosu has his own clinic in the market town. Ren Xiaosu immediately go near them, but he saw that it was just grazed and not a serious injury. The men are already annoyed at him again, as he was doing something like the cage Bushin technique. Who treats wounds like this? What kind of doctor are you? The man shouted. Which doctor? Ren Xiaosu answered, which made them more annoyed. They let Ren Xiaosu go and Xianchu told 2 men to sit at the back of the pickup truck since their other truck was already damaged and no chance to be repaired. When they were about to ride at the back, one man feels like he was choked. His eyes become red and he falls to the ground. They checked the surrounding of the truck, but they didn't see something. When Xianchu hold the man, he was not breathing. They were all clueless why their colleague died in an instant. The lieutenant feels something on the wood. Some of them started to feel scared and wanted to go back, but Xianchu said that it was not possible since they are under strict orders that must be carried. Xinyu ordered Ren Xiaosu to carry the corpse and that he should sit at the back of the truck along with the dead body. While Ren Xiaosu followed her order, he saw a stinger in the corpse's neck. He was thinking that the poison in the stinger was actually capable of instantly ending the life of a fully grown man. He now believes that the wilderness is getting more and more dangerous at this rate. They continue their travel and Ren Xiaosu sits at the back of the truck again enjoying the crackers. He was talking to himself, which made the men in the front seat wonder and think that he really is insane. They also noticed that it gets hotter the farther north they can get, even though it's almost winter. Then they saw that there are several active volcanoes around the mountains. It's already their day 2 and they stopped by the front of volcanoes. They saw words at the mountains stating that the living shall not enter. Xianchu asked Ren Xiaosu about who carved the words, but even Ren Xiaosu is also clueless and believed that these words aren't there when he came to this mountain last year. Upon hearing it, one man asked him why he came to this mountain if he is only a hunter. Because of that, he started to doubt Ren Xiaosu's identity. Yep, there's something I've been hiding from you all. I'm actually descended from a dragon, Ren Xiaosu answered, which made the band annoyed. Xianchu pointed a gun at him as he also doubted Ren Xiaosu and accused him that he is the one who carved the words. Ren Xiaosu is too calm while answering the lieutenant that it's not possible for his height to carve words in the high part of the mountain. He also explained that he came to this area last year because he encountered a wolf pack and the wolf pack chased him until here. At that time, the wolf pack's target is not him. He just so happened to be there. He rushed into the forest in a panic, but he didn't expect that the wolves would actually pursue him. As for how he survived, once he entered the Howling Canyon, they stopped chasing him. The band was speechless while looking at the Howling Canyon. They started to think that there might be more terrifying than wolves in this area. Ren Xiaosu also added that he hid there for 2 days, and after the wolf pack left, he came out. But still, he doesn't know the deeper parts of this place. A man suddenly talked about people with supernatural abilities, but Xianchu stopped him since it is a military secret. While they are discussing, they heard a sound coming from the back of the truck. They slowly checked it and fired the gun, but it was only a rat that wanted to steal some food. Xianchu shouted as he noticed that their colleague's dead body is missing. He asked Ren Xiaosu, but also Ren Xiaosu is clueless.
That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you wish to have another part of this recap, please give us at least 2,000 likes. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Until next time.